Consider this, a tiny city-state squeezed into just 44 hectares in the heart of Europe with only about 800 citizens. Yet this small area represents spiritual leadership and financial power that has endured for generations. Yes, you guessed it, the Vatican. Most people know it for its statues, frescoes, and the Pope. Today, however, we are going to look beyond those golden crosses and marble walls at the real game. How did the Church preserve its power, manage politics, and become one of the most brilliant financial players in history? Join us on our journey to understand the source of that wealth and the secretive mechanisms that manage it. Let's dive in. To truly grasp the Church's financial genius, we must go back to the early days of Christianity. Initially, the Church was a humble charity sustained only by donations. But then guess what happened? The Roman Empire began to collapse. At that moment, the Church stepped in to fill the void. As the empire disintegrated, local bishops became more than just men who prayed. They became the largest landowners, judges, and tax collectors in their regions. Throughout the Middle Ages, the Church was effectively the biggest real estate empire in Europe. To manage the income pouring in from these vast lands, the Church established accounting and administrative systems far more advanced than anyone else's at the time. However, the real financial revolution came with a system called papal taxation. Every Christian across Europe was expected to make a regular contribution to the Church. Imagine this as the largest, most centrally collected income stream of that era, while kings struggled to collect taxes in their own small territories. The Church built a continent-wide payment network that worked like an early PayPal. And of course, there were those famous indulgences. Although they were sold for spiritual purposes, what were indulgences practically speaking? They were the Church's way of fundraising quickly and guaranteeing results. They promised you a place in heaven to finance huge projects like the construction of St. Peter's Basilica. While this practice sparked Martin Luther's Reformation, it proves the Church's brilliance in raising capital. So how does the modern Vatican manage its wealth? The modern story begins with the Lateran Treaty of 1929. In exchange for relinquishing past territorial claims, the Italian state paid the Church a substantial sum of cash and state bonds. This was a turning point in the story. Pope Pius XIII knew exactly how to handle this enormous sum of money. He appointed Bernardino Nogara, one of the sharpest financiers of the time, to manage it. He was a real legend. Rather than keeping the Church's wealth in Italian banks, Nogara spread it across global markets that were struggling with the crisis at the time. He invested in the British pound, Swiss franc, and US dollar. In essence, he turned the Church into an international holding company. He laid the foundation for the Vatican's financial independence, ensuring that it could survive without being beholden to Italian politics or its economy. So where is this wealth held today? That mysterious acronym we often hear, APSA. It stands for the Administration of the Patrimony of the Apostolic See. This organization manages the Vatican's real estate, stocks, and bonds. That's right, the Vatican owns large properties and holds shares in major companies all over the world, from Switzerland to London to America. What is the exact total value of these assets? That's the real secret. Although official figures tend to be modest, experts estimate that the total value of the Church's holdings, including art, property, and financial investments, exceeds tens of billions of dollars. It's a hidden treasure trove. Now let's get to the main point. What made the Vatican a financial legend? What can we learn from their financial strategies compared to those of the other empires we study on this channel? The Church's success rests on three fundamental principles that should also be at the core of your investment philosophy. Playing the long game, the Vatican thinks in terms of centuries, sometimes millennia. Financial crises, wars, and regime changes are just temporary fluctuations to them. Their investments are structured around this perspective. While most corporations plan 10 years ahead, the Vatican plans 100 years ahead. Maximum global diversification. This strategy, conceived by Nogara's genius, is the ultimate example of not putting all your eggs in one basket. By spreading their wealth across different countries' currencies, real estate types, and sectors, they ensured that they would not be crushed by the collapse of any single empire or crisis. Monetizing trust. The most fascinating part is that the Church offered faith, one of humanity's most fundamental needs. This faith and trust then converted directly and indirectly into cash flow, land, and political influence. Their wealth comes not just from their properties, but also from the voluntary commitment of billions of people. This is the strongest business model in the world. If you are navigating the financial markets today, remember the Vatican's lesson. Don't chase quick gains. Patience, diversification, and the ability to consider risk over a long time horizon are key to extending your financial lifespan, as the Church has done for 2,000 years. The Vatican's secret wealth is more than just a financial statement, it's a financial survival guide. They demonstrated that an institution's power comes not only from battleships or armies, but also from the wisdom to manage money. Remember, the secret formula that created this financial legend was a smart global investment strategy coupled with faith. What are your thoughts on this? Whose financial wisdom do you think the Vatican's wealth most resembles? Rome or the British Empire? Let me know in the comments below.